Commissioner Zerdy, you want to start us?
Sure. I had the pleasure of being at the South Palm Neighborhood Association meeting last night, and I think there was a lot of people there. I think there was about 35 folks there. And so the main topic there had to do with some incidents on South Federal Highway. We had PBSO there. I think they did a very good job in a sensitive situation with some information that was also supplied by Mr. Waters. And I think that the exchange was good. I think the meeting was run pretty well with their new president. And I felt that there was a lot of good information that was exchanged because they've had some incidents there, as we've seen things heightened recently. So a lot of properties have changed hands, and I know that a lot of properties have been purchased on South Federal Highway lately. So they're struggling through the transition of ownership and actually understanding the type of tenants that are there and weeding through those. So there's been some problems down there. But I felt pretty good that the current owner in question seemed to make an honest attempt. He had the courage to show up and meet with those people and offered and was receptive to different things that they could try to do to mitigate the problems going on between, that was like 50 units or so there and the neighbors right around them. But it's been a problem, and I think that it was real good for the detective to show up, who has a lot of experience, particularly in that neighborhood. So I think I was happy to see what was going on there. Also, I still think that there's some questions about, I get phone calls again still about this beach decal stuff, so maybe we could address that. I think we talked about modifying that sometime. I don't know if we can get an update. We might hear when some of that might come back and we can address that. Also, the Treasure Coast Regional Planning Council is concluded their 750 vision, and they're talking about how that might affect planning for the different planning councils in different cities and municipalities all up and down the 7 different counties. So they have a meeting coming up a week from this Friday, the 21st, and I'm a member of that council group. So I think it has some reaching goals. They're not enforceable, they're just recommendations, but they've looked forward to what we do on the coast with the kind of growth that we've had and the problems that we had. So I'm looking forward to getting back to the commission and the city on those things. I guess the street painting festival last year, we volunteered to do some paint mixing and so on. That was a lot of fun. It was messy. It was fun and messy. But I'm looking forward to that happening this year again. And maybe pull some beer handles too to help out with that. So, and condolences to Nadine. Her husband, I saw her at the Green Market over the weekend as well, which that was also kind of a shock, but my best prayers and wishes for her and her family.
All of us. Commissioner Russo?
Yes, Street Painting Festival is coming up in 2 weeks. With Street Painting Festival, the Kiwanis does Taste of Lake Worth Friday night. Tickets are on sale downtown. It's a great way to move around the city and taste some of the restaurants you might not have tried before. We also have Evening on the Avenues that night in the plaza. Great bands, vendors. E.R. Bradley's will be out, so you get to taste E.R. Bradley's if you'd like to do that. Also, John had mentioned, and Commissioner Zerdy, it's a good time for you to get involved with your neighborhood association. Come out and pour beer, get involved, meet your neighborhood association, and anybody that volunteers, that money goes back into the neighborhoods. So please, if you've been looking to get be part of the neighborhood, the tips from the beer go back into the neighborhood. If we're looking for an excuse to get involved in your neighborhood, this is a great time. Also, Great Mockingbird Gardens is having their big fundraiser and party on Sunday at 1 p.m. That's going to be a great time out. Again, my condolences to Nadine Burns and her family. Also, to Sue Stevens, a CRA board member. She lost her sister yesterday, so my condolences go out to her and her family. And in closing, I just want to say thank you for the support. If you haven't heard, myself, the mayor, and Commissioner Scott Maxwell are running unopposed. So I just want to say thank you to the community, and I personally look forward to serving the citizens for another 2 years.
I'm also running unopposed at this point.
It's not your turn this time.
Well, just, let you know.
You're walking, you're biking.
Yeah, I'm biking unopposed. I just wanted to say that I went last Friday night to can't remember the name of it, but it was one of the many activities at the Artist Lofts downtown, and I have to say that I'm very impressed with how the Artist Lofts have worked out. I happen to know a few of the people, I guess 2 of the people that moved in through totally different contexts, and was pleased to find out they were moving in. And since then I've been to a number of activities there. It really is pretty remarkable that you can actually create kind of a little artist colony, and there seems to be a lot of energy with it, a lot of creativity, and I think it's quite an asset to our city. So kudos to all those involved in helping to make it happen.
Thank you. I just want to thank, just like Commissioner Amoroso did, for your support and your trust, and I promise to do you proud. Also want to mention also Nadine Burns and her family too. My family's condolences. We've got a lot of really interesting and cool things coming, and we've got the Finnish Festival just to the west of us this Saturday, so come on out. We've got Mockingbird. I know I'll be out there doing a dedication. The mural's going up, so that's going to be very exciting. I had the great time to go to the Green Market on Saturday. It was the Radish Festival. I never knew there were so many radishes. I've never had a watermelon radish in my life. But they're always doing something fun and exciting out there, and it was just a great time for all. Also wanted to mention, I took a trip recently to Washington, D.C., and I was invited to go to the U.S. Conference of Mayors, of which the city is not a member of, we have with the National League of Cities, and I was given I guess the first trip free kind of thing. How would you describe it when you go in there? So they paid for for me to go out there. The reason I wanted to go is because the entire conference was on funding infrastructure. Imagine that. We've got a lot of infrastructure needs coming before us, and I'll talk more about this. I don't want to get into a full-fledged report right now, but I spent a lot of time meeting with, I actually had the good fortune of going to the White House, to meeting the president's whole entire new cabinet and staff, meeting their new transportation director, Anthony Fox, him offering some very interesting advice for situations, and offering one of his staff members and associates to come on out and take a look at Lake Worth. I came very heavily equipped with my armor of information about the city of Lake Worth. I went out with packets and stuff that staff had helped me put together on a lot of different ideas and projects, and most importantly, what our needs are and what our current situation is, and how we can go about it. A lot of the discussions have been over the fact that there are very few funding options, and in fact, I actually asked a question in front of the U.S. Press Corps at the meeting that was televised on C-SPAN, talking about our city being very unique. There's funding monies for transportation and issues when it comes to counties that are doled out, but they're for disadvantaged counties. And I don't know if you noticed, but Palm Beach County isn't a disadvantaged county. Yet we have Belglade, Riviera Beach, and Lake Worth in that mix. So, what about disadvantaged cities, not just counties? And there were very few options, and CDBG grant monies were cut. So, me and my infrastructure discussions. So I actually went there and spent the time to go to Congressman Hastings' office. I met with staff. I went to Congresswoman Lois Frankel's office, met with them. I went to Senator Marco Rubio's office, and I went to, who am I missing?
Bill Nelson?
No, Bill Nelson was not available. Congressman Frankel, Hastings, and Deutsch, excuse me, and Congressman Deutsch's office. We had a wonderful meeting with their staff and talked to them about, again, what our situation is. I'm trying to tell our story. Our story is very, it's not unique on certain levels, but it is very unique on others, where we are with our infrastructure needs. And also to brag about our city too, showing that we're one of the best cities for a turnaround. If they want to put their money where their mouths are, that we certainly could tell that story for them and be their success story to show how it actually works. And we need the funds. So either way, it was a very exciting trip. If you have any details, or I brought a lot of stuff back with me. If you want to have a meeting Tuesday, I'm available to go through all of it. But again, I couldn't miss an opportunity to talk about funding infrastructure, as that is one of our #1 issues right now. And I'll be happy to share more along as we go along. Sorry guys,
That's good, that's good.
Public participation of